very soon we're going to be having a bit of a debate on the flags. Ausflag is a non-profit, apolitical non-profit organisation seeking to promote higher quality debate about Australia's national symbols. Ausflag was established back in 1981 by Harold Scrooby and other interested Australians supporting the idea of a new flag for Australia. Ausflag became incorporated as a non-profit organisation in January 1983. There's been various discussions about why we should have an Australian flag. Harold Scrooby joins me on the program at the moment. Hello, Harold. How are you?
Well, thanks, John. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good. Why do you reckon we need a flag of our own?
Well, we don't have one of our own.
Well, we have a flag.
Share it.
We have a flag.
We're sharing it with someone else.
Is that a problem?
Yes.
Why?
It is. Well, very simply, if you study vexillology, if you study the history of all the nations in the Commonwealth, you'll find, and only a week ago, it became 1 down, 2 to go. Only 2 countries in the whole of the Commonwealth now still retain the Union Jack in the top left corner. If you also further study flags, you'll realise when you place the flag of another nation in the top left corner of your flag, it defines it as a colony or a homeland or a protectorate of that nation. We're not a colony, homeland or protectorate of Great Britain. We're a sovereign, independent nation. So our flag is a very false and misleading flag.
Okay, well then I suppose you would be one for changing the Constitution and how Australia is governed.
Not necessarily at all. In fact, that's a fallacious argument because if you study Canada changed its flag from a defaced British ensign in 1965 and remains a monarchy today. Similarly, New Guinea changed its flag and it remains a monarchy. It doesn't follow at all. The 2 issues are not related and the word flag does not appear in our Constitution.
So you just want to change the Australian flag to have a flag simply for Australia?
Absolutely, and I think if we look at the Canadian model and ask ourselves, are they much different from us? They have the Westminster system of government, they have the Queen, but they have a flag which screams Canada.
So the next step is not necessarily a republic?
It's got nothing to do with the republic.
Okay.
Nothing to do with it. By the way, I'll give you a good example. Did we become a republic when we changed from God Save the Queen to Advance Australia Fair?
No.
Well, there's the example. It's nothing to do with it. People try to pretend it has, and there are very many people who'd like to see a new flag but don't want to become a republic. There are very many people who want to become a republic and don't want to see a new flag. But the one thing I can promise you is the Australian flag is probably the most unpopular flag in the world. And the opinion polls vary between 35% and 50% of Australians wanting to change it.
So if we wanted to change the flag, would we have to have a referendum?
We don't have to do anything. We just have to have an act of parliament. But we're in favour of a plebiscite, not a referendum.
Okay.
A referendum applies to a constitutional change.
Yes.
We believe, as we did with the national anthem, we had a plebiscite. Malcolm Fraser initiated it. We should have a choice. We should have perhaps 2 or 3 options, including the existing flag, and Australians should choose.
Okay, well, let's leave it there. I'll bring up now the Queensland branch chairman from the Australian Monarchist League, Tristan Rogers, to have a yarn about why he thinks we don't need to change a flag. Well, I presume that's the way he thinks, and then we'll have a quick break and let a couple of our guests have a brief discussion about that. Tristan, welcome.
Good afternoon, John.
Am I on the right track saying you don't want to change the flag?
Absolutely not. I don't think there's any good reason to change the flag, and Harold hasn't outlined a reason in his opening. Good afternoon to you, Harold.
He's not on the line with you. We're just letting you say why you believe it shouldn't be changed, and I'm going to have a quick break, and then you can come back and have a discussion about it, a rational discussion, hopefully.
Yeah, sure. Look, I don't think it needs to be changed. The Republicans and other people who want to change the flag have had 100 years to come up with their preferred flag. They haven't been able to do that. So, but I think if we just use the common sense test and we venture down to Bondi Beach or South Bank in Brisbane on Australia Day, you won't see a crowd of people waving an alternate flag.
Well, there isn't one, though, is there? Are you there, Tristan? I think I've lost you. Are you there?
All on sundry.
Yeah, I lost you there because I couldn't hear what you said. Could you repeat your sentence, please?
Sorry, I said if you go down to Bondi Beach or South Bank in Australia Day, you won't see a crowd of people chanting for change. You will see our Australian flag being flown.
I know, but there's no option but to, if you're in Australia, we have the flag, and that's the only one we have at the moment.
Well, if there was a significant movement of people who were wanting another flag, there's nothing stopping them from getting out there and campaigning for one. And Australia Day would be an ideal time to they can muster half a dozen people.
How do you answer the statement from Mr. Scrooby saying that our flag is very unpopular?
Well, I just go back to the common sense test.
But he quoted some figures there. Have you seen those figures?
I don't know what figures he's talking about, but if you use the common sense test and ask Australians what they think, they wholeheartedly endorse our flag. And I've challenged Mr. Scrooby to point me to a beach or a barbecue area or anything like that where you can see people...
Did you hear him outline his reasons for wanting to change the flag?
Yeah, I heard those reasons, yep.
And how would you... What would be your reply to his reasons, which appear valid reasons for changing the flag? I'm not suggesting we should, but he has an argument there. What are your thoughts?
Well, what Fiji does is up to them, and he's right when he says Australia is an independent sovereign nation, and Australians decided on their flag, and we'll decide what happens. We're not going to be embarrassed or pressured by anybody, including Fiji or the United Kingdom or any other nation on what we do with our flag. We can make a decision for ourselves, and we made that decision, and our flag is enormously popular. I don't see any... Like I say, we've had our national flag for over 110 years, and the people who want to change it have had 110 years to come up with their preferred design and get out there and sell it to people, and they have been utterly unable to do so.
Okay, Tristan Rogers is my guest at the moment. He's the Queensland branch chairman from the Australian Monarchist League. We'll let them have a bit of a discussion as to why we shouldn't change our flag in just a moment. What are your thoughts? Would you like to see the flag changed? This is a good barometer for you. 13 13 32. A break and we'll come back.
Brisbane is talking. Summer afternoons with John Scott.
Join the conversation
On 1116
4BC.